Welcome back to Klepper's Corner. Today in history, the only history show where one day on the calendar manages to cram in revolution, liberation, innovation, geopolitical faceplants, and enough cosmic coincidence that you start to suspect December 9th has a side hustle as the universe's event planner. Some dates are chill. Some dates mind their own business. December 9th wakes up, kicks the door off the hinges, and says, let's restructure civilization before brunch. Today we're diving into a date that toppled empires, invented the future, codified human rights, confused Cold War paranoids, cured a plague, launched an uprising, shook the Middle East, and, for spice, included a guy in Pennsylvania who thought the best way to handle America's healthcare crisis was with a 3D printed firearm. December 9th doesn't do subtle. December 9th does plot twists. Let's break down the day that refuses to be just another 24 hours on a calendar. Segment 1, the Forge of Nations, when empires learned gravity exists. December 9th has a thing for sending empires tumbling down mountainsides, swamps, and occasionally their own arrogance. We start in 1775 at the Battle of Great Bridge, where the British decided the best way to keep Virginia was to charge across a narrow causeway surrounded by swamp. The historical equivalent of, what if we run straight into their guns? What could go wrong? The Patriots said everything, literally everything. And after 30 minutes, British authority in Virginia evaporated like a TikTok trend. Lord Dunmore fled to a ship offshore, possibly asking Siri for directions to anywhere but here. Fast forward to 1824, high in the Andes at the Battle of Ayacucho, where the Spanish Empire got hit with the realization that South America was officially done with its colonial nonsense. Sucre outmaneuvered the royalists. The viceroy got captured, and Spain's grip snapped so hard historians could hear it echo. Out of this came independence for Peru, and soon Bolivia, because nothing says, thank you for liberating us, like naming an entire country after a guy. December 9th. Not a great date for anyone trying to keep an empire. A stellar date for everyone trying to make one. Segment 2, the rise of modernity. Gaslights, godfights, and catastrophic coal dust. By the mid-1800s, December 9th pivoted from battlefield carnage to urban innovation and social reform. Like the date said, you know what this revolution needs? Amenities. In 1851, the YMCA arrived in North America because industrial cities were basically Victorian anxiety machines, and young men desperately needed a place to pray, play sports, and avoid becoming Dickens characters. Then, in 1868, London installed the world's first traffic light. It promptly exploded. Truly the most British engineering story ever. We attempted to improve safety, and instead, we detonated an officer. Jump to 1905, when France finally separated church and state, codifying laïcité, a law that essentially declared, religion, you stay in your lane, no crosstalk. A century later, the debates remain as fiery as the gas lamp that annihilated the traffic light. And then 1911 brought us the Briceville mine explosion, a stark reminder that the industrial age ran on coal, sweat, and tragically non-existent safety regulations. The Bureau of Mines had just been created a year earlier, which is history's way of saying, we'll fix it after something terrible happens. Segment 3, the world at war, conquests, atrocities, and the moment the mouse roared. December 9th jumps into the 20th century like it's auditioning for an action movie. In 1917, Jerusalem fell to British forces for the first time in 400 years. General Allenby entered the city on foot out of respect, proving that occasionally a military commander reads the room. Then December 9th goes full global chaos. 1940, Operation Compass kicks Italian forces all the way across Libya. 1941, China finally declares war on Japan, Germany, and Italy, making World War II officially a group project no one wanted to be part of. 1937, Japanese forces begin the assault on Nanking, a tragic precursor to one of history's darkest chapters. By 1946, the doctor's trial at Nuremberg began, revealing the medical horrors of the Nazi regime and producing the Nuremberg Code, a document that basically says, hey, maybe don't torture people in the name of science. It's one of those days where history taps you on the shoulder and whispers, humanity can be awful, but it can also course correct. Segment 4, the architecture of human rights. Humanity writes a rule book. On December 9th, 1948, the world decided to stand up against the abyss. The United Nations adopted the Genocide Convention, thanks to Raphael Lemkin, a man whose life mission was to ensure the horrors of the Holocaust could never be legally shrugged off again. It defined genocide, obligated nations to prevent it, and also terrified U.S. senators who suddenly worried the country might be held accountable for, well, our entire racial history. It took the U.S. 40 years to ratify it because Senator William Proxmire apparently decided his life goal was to give 3,000 speeches until Congress finally said, fine, we'll sign it, please stop talking. December 9th, the day humanity created a legal firewall against its worst impulses. Segment 5, Cold War and Ideas, Red Scares, Radical Clubs, and African Freedom. History shifts into Cold War paranoia mode, the part of the century where America looked under every bed and found communists, real or imagined. In 1950, Harry Gold was sentenced for atomic espionage. America freaked out. Politicians discovered you could build a career by yelling communist at anything that moved. This environment birthed the John Birch Society in 1958, founded by a man so intensely suspicious he accused President Eisenhower of being a communist agent. Ike, the guy who stormed Normandy, that Ike. But December 9th isn't all conspiratorial fireworks. In 1961, Tanganyika gained independence peacefully under Julius Nyerere, proving you could actually leave colonialism without setting the building on fire. That alone made it the most shocking twist of the era. And in 1968, Douglas Engelbart unveiled the mother of all demos, showing the world the mouse, hypertext, digital editing, and video conferencing. It was the day the future arrived, and also the day everyone in the audience realized their typewriters would soon be museum pieces. Segment 6, the modern era. Viruses defeated, stones thrown, dictatorship dismantled. December 9th keeps upping the stakes. In 1979, smallpox was officially eradicated. Humanity beat a virus that killed hundreds of millions. A genuinely bright spot, rare for this date. Then 1987 brought the first Intifada, a grassroots uprising that reshaped Israeli-Palestinian relations and introduced the world to a form of resistance built on strikes, stone throwing, and sheer collective exhaustion. Then 1990, Poland elected Lech Walesa, an electrician turned union leader turned president. It was like if your local plumber suddenly toppled a regime and won Time Person of the Year. The Soviet bloc was fading, and December 9th once again said, let's change the world order today. Segment 7, the collapse of 2024. Syria breaks open and America spirals. And now the 21st century, where December 9th decides to go full geopolitical thriller. In 2024, the Assad regime collapsed. 13 years of civil war ended not with a slow fade, but with rebels storming Damascus in a 10-day lightning campaign. Russia was too distracted in Ukraine. Iran's supply lines were collapsing, and the Syrian army just folded. Bashar al-Assad boarded a plane to Russia like a man leaving a Yelp review for his own dictatorship. 1 star, would not govern again. Sednaya prison was opened. 20,000 prisoners were freed. The region erupted in uncertainty. Israel fortified borders. The Middle East map rippled like someone dropped it into a blender. And on the same date, the U.S. had its own drama. Luigi Mangione, a highly educated, extremely online young man, was arrested for assassinating a healthcare executive using a ghost gun. His manifesto criticized the for-profit system. His weapon was 3D printed. His arrest at McDonald's confirmed a long-held national truth. Even fugitives eventually need fries. December 9th, destabilizing nations and Happy Meals alike. In conclusion, December 9th is the closest thing history has to a cosmic grab bag. It tears down empires, raises new nations, rewrites laws, dismantles dictatorships, and occasionally invents the mouse. It gives us protests, treaties, Independence Days, and in between, the quiet continuity of towns like Connorsville. If December 9th has a moral, it's this: civilization is always under construction. Some days we build, some days we break, and some days, this day, we change direction entirely.